I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well...
change the topic.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with the
retirement career.
You're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue.
Raise taxes.
Far.
This is the face of a con artist. This is the face of a man who bought the presidency and has secured a government takeover to implement a form of government that revolves around himself and the rest of his tech billionaires, not the people.
So my next question is for anybody who still finds themselves in the fan club of Felon 47 and the Doge bags destroying this country. How many people does he have to hurt before it hits home? And don't you dare give me that, you don't care about corruption and fraud bullcrap either. You never did. If you did, you would be calling for Republicans to be strung up too, but you only care about hurting Democrats. When in reality, the only fraud these motherfuckers have managed to find is themselves when they do things like refuse to admit they can't read COBOL, so they convince you sad sorry some that Social Security has been paying out folks for 150 years. Quick lesson for the kids in red hats at the back of the class: never attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence. Now, normally that means that people aren't evil, they're just stupid, but in this particular case, the words just weirdly apply. Anyways, that's gonna be my rant for the day. This actually wasn't where I was originally going. I wanted to talk about the schools and the voucher system.
One of my favorite content creators, Pissed Off Bartender, rails against Musk, MAGA, and Trump, to name a few, in his rants. Let's hear more, shall we?
Donald Trump is now running into what could be his biggest obstacle yet when it comes to reshaping the federal government: Medicare and Medicaid. NBC News reports that the official budget scorekeeper says there's no way Republicans can hit their budget goals and pass the bill the president wants without making significant cuts to one of those programs. Democrats insisting today that would wreck the lives of millions of Americans.
We told y'all they were coming for this, and MAGA still did not listen to the warnings.
You see, folks, this one's real simple to get to the meat of the matter. All you gotta do is the math. There is no way they can come up with $880 billion worth of budget cuts without taking a massive chunk out of Medicaid. But some of y'all, don't feel like I have to say who, do not seem to have the discernment skills to look any deeper than, well, my billionaire daddy said. I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to the question I'm about to ask because it has never changed. It's the same as it's always been. But, MAGA, what are you gonna do? What are you going to do when you have to say goodbye to a certain senior citizen in your life because they can no longer afford their medical expenses? What are you going to do about that cancer patient you know who can no longer afford chemo? What are you going to do about the disabled person you know who can no longer afford their care because their disability check can't cover it? What are you going to do when it affects you? Oh, and just so you know, you can't say come together as a community and crowdfund it. That would be communism. Now, once again, I'm not actually expecting a real answer. I already know what it is. Y'all are going to do exactly whatever it is that dictator that you daydream about tells you to do. Meanwhile, a whole lot of people who never did anything wrong in their entire lives other than try to be a good person are going to find themselves in the past tense. But don't you worry, the billionaires in the private healthcare industry, oh, well, they will continue to make big profits.
Amen to that, brother. As we have seen over and over, the healthcare industry is full of robber barons who profit off of us and withhold necessities until we pay them. It is a scam. Let's be clear, through and through.
Well, I'm a big fan of school choice. I think school choice is a great thing. School choice is a big deal, actually, and we're going to get it. We're also moving the Department of Education back to the states. You know, we're at the bottom of every list, except we spend more per pupil than any other country. And we're going to move it back. And, I can't say all states because some won't do as good and some won't do very good at all because they'll run it like they run it anyway. You know who I'm talking about. But many of these states are going to do a phenomenal job. They'll be at the top of the list. So we're moving education back to the states. We'll do it for half the cost, less than half the cost. and we'll get a real education out of it.
So-called school choice programs also appear to disproportionately benefit religious schools. What a shock, right? According to the Washington Post, an analysis of voucher programs, 87% of Arizona's voucher money went to religious schools. While Arizona has the nation's most expansive voucher program, 10 other states have similar programs. 17 more states have smaller voucher systems. The same Washington Post analysis found that in those 28 states that provide public funding for private school vouchers, the vast majority of the money ends up going to religious schools. What a shocker, which translates to billions of dollars in public education funding being lost. In some states, as much as 98% of voucher funding goes to religious schools. So, to recap, Arizona gave students in the school choice program roughly $7,000 each, made up of funding that used to go to public schools in order to allow them to choose their own non-public option. But the voucher doesn't cover the full amount of tuition at those schools, so families who already pay for tuition get a tuition break, while families who can't pay the tuition are forced back into public schools, where they're now receiving even fewer resources.
To reiterate, this is what they voted for. This is what they wanted. We tried ringing the alarm. It fell on deaf ears, and sadly, it appears to be imminent.
I don't really want to take the time to explain the school voucher system if you have not figured out yet that it is nothing more than welfare for the wealthy. Well, then I don't know what to tell you. What I do want to talk about is the overwhelmingly negative response that Republicans have had to their right-wing leaders in comment sections across social media. You see, for some reason, even though I live in Alabama, my bookface loves to serve me content from that embarrassment Greg Abbott. But do not worry, brisket-flavored friends. He wants to assure you that underfunding your public schools will absolutely not affect their football budget. People, that's not parody. That's a real post. You can go to Greg Abbott's social media. You will see where he told you not to worry because the high school football teams will not be affected. He is actively ignoring any and all of his constituents that raise a concern with this issue. Now, totally imaginary bouncers, take him outside, pull out a dictionary, and teach this imbecile the definition of the term tariff. That ought to stop him talking for at least 2 or 3 weeks. Have you folks got sick of this bit yet?
Honestly, yes. We've been sick of it far beyond 2016. It's just the evil keeps on repeating itself with the worst bad faith actors who are able to reach the electorate with fake populism that only enriches the billionaire class and themselves. Tiresome is an understatement. For more fantastic content from the friendly Off Bartender, head over to youtube.com/@Off Bartender to check out his videos. Merch can be found off the website bonfire.com. His Instagram under the handle Off Bartender with the last E replaced by a 3, and his TikTok under the original name Off Bartender.
You know, I wish all these athletes would shut up about politics and just play sports. And that, unless they believe exactly what I believe, and then in that case, you people, and I do mean you people, need to stop trying to censor their freedom of speech. You know, Harrison Buttkicker, he's just telling it like it is. And if you can't handle it, then that's too damn bad.
If there's anyone who knows how to encapsulate the sheer absurdity of the conservative worldview, it's comedian and expert MAGA troll Brent Terhune.
And Buttkicker, he's smart. He's got an engineering degree. I call it ED for short, but he's got ED, and he graduated MAGA Yelled Loudly, and he stood up there at that graduation. And he looked at all them women that they just got their BAs and their MDs and their PhDs, and he said, you know, that's all fine and good, ladies, but you need to get a real degree. Get you an MRS degree and find you a husband and find your vocation.
In case you don't recall,
I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
Kansas City Chiefs kicker and raging Christian nationalist Harrison Butker gave this incredibly misogynistic and out-of-touch speech at Benedictine College's 2024 graduation ceremony, cynically using his religious beliefs to justify treating women as second-class citizens, reducing them to nothing more than housewives, and suggesting they're capable of nothing else because that's what his version of God says. Terhune, as you can probably tell, sees things a little differently. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Find a man, marry him, and then he will tell you your vocation. And Catholic survey says, ding, 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 homemaker. That's your vocation. And that's a cushy job. It's easy. All you got to do is find a man that makes $3 million a year, and then you can spend the rest of your life making babies.
Just like his fellow bootstrapping, God-fearing conservatives, Butker never even considered how his financial privileges allow his family to live the lofty traditional lifestyle he's calling on the female graduates to live.
Ladies, if you don't want to be a homemaker, that's fine. You're free to be whatever you want, as long as it's a stewardess, a waitress, a maid, or a nun, because God forbid. And can I say how refreshing it is to see a real man on the Kansas City Chiefs? You know, because a real man, he shouldn't be out gallivanting all over the world in a private jet with his billionaire girlfriend while she shakes her turd cutter on stage. That's a sin. That's a goddamn sin. You know, not so much the dancing or the amassing great wealth while people literally starve, but shacking up with your girlfriend before you're married, that's a sin.
Brent Terhune is a great follow out there for conservative satire. But it's frankly a sad reflection of the state of our country that comedy skits like this end up resonating so well.
Real man, he shouldn't be out gallivanting all over the world in a private jet with his billionaire girlfriend while she shakes her turd cutter on stage. That's a sin. That's a goddamn sin. You know, not so much the dancing or the amassing great wealth while people literally starve, but shacking up with your girlfriend before you're married, that's a sin.
Brent Terhune is a great follow out there for conservative satire. But it's frankly a sad reflection of the state of our country that comedy skits like this end up resonating so well. Now, back on Terhune's previous chiding of conservatives for whining about athletes talking about politics, just soak in this comically pathetic picture of Butker visiting Trump in the White House weeks after getting smoked by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. For all the complaining and tantrums we've heard over the years about participation trophies and making sure only the best players get awarded, it's hilarious to see Trump and his admin go out of their way to reward Butker for endorsing the MAGA movement during the 2024 election through fellow Christian nationalists and man who seemingly doesn't know how to kiss his wife, Senator Josh Hawley.
Who else would I want to hit the campaign trail with than Senator Josh Hawley, who we spent last several years together forming this relationship, and he's a family man, he's a godly man, and there's no other person I'd want to support it to be the first candidate that I'm endorsing. So it's not putting down anyone who maybe wants to go get a great education and have a career, but it's more talking about how beautiful it is for women to maybe just step aside and prioritize their family and spend time with their children and raise their family. And that's what I was just trying to speak love.
And speaking of Hawley, Butker made sure to stop by and visit him for an incredibly awkward photo op, looking like the last two lawyers you should call if you need legal representation. Butker also stopped by for a picture with Trump press secretary and chief propagandist Caroline Leavitt, who is married to and has a child with a man over 30 years older than her. Yet Butker will have nothing to say about a weird age gap like that because they're playing for the same team, nor will he say anything about this woman having a job.
He spoke at a Catholic university, and he's entitled to those beliefs. We are also all, though, entitled to say that we stand against everything that he stood for. And I thought it was amusing coming from him with the women's role and the whole thing. And his mom is this accomplished scientist and everything else who was clearly working outside of the home. I don't agree with anything he said. I think it's backwards. I think it's misogynistic.
It was homophobic and anti-Semitic as well.
Well, I mean, listen, the homophobic stuff, there's no excuse for whatsoever. There's a part of conservative Christianity that doesn't think women should have leadership positions, and they go in and quote scripture and all that. Listen, to me, I don't care where your beliefs come from. Bigotry is bigotry. And saying, well, that's my religious beliefs, well, fine, then your religion's bigoted. It doesn't change anything, in my opinion. So, look, I stand firmly against everything that guy said.
Stan Van Gundy, 100% spot on here. Religion is a political tool that can be wielded to justify whatever position you want to, whether it be the racist oppression of slavery or liberation ideology and the advancement of civil rights causes. It all depends on who is wielding it and to what end.
Put the window down! Put the window down! Put the window down! Put the window down! Put both of your hands out the window right now! Put both of your hands out the window!
In an absolutely wild piece of body cam footage coming out of the village of Woodridge, about 30 miles west of Chicago, the man in the vehicle with multiple firearms pointed at him is Derek House. And we're only seeing this footage because he's suing the police department over a year after this incident occurred.
Good. You, with an outside hand, reach out, open the door. Watch your crossfire. Okay, real slow, left hand, do it from the inside. You come out with a gun, we are going to end you. Do you understand?
Nothing says de-escalation quite like telling a suspect, quote, "We will end you," close quote. Remember that for later.
There you go. There you go. Come on out. I gotta put the car in park. Put it in park. Put it in park. Real slow. Everything real slow. I'm gonna shoot you in your head if you come up with anything other than that.
Threatening to shoot a suspect in the head also does nothing to cool the situation down and is something else you should remember for later.
All right, real slow. Y'all got the line. Slow down. Slow down. Somebody shut off that siren. Left hand, real slow across your body. Undo your seatbelt. I got you. You look at me, nobody else. You do what I say, you'll be okay. Real slow, come out of that car. You guys got cover? Got cover. I got. Face away from me. Face away from me. Face that car. Walk back to me, real slow. Real slow. Real slow. Now move. Hands behind your back right now.
Oh, for what, man? I don't have any weapons. I just came from Costco, dude.
Do not move. Do not move. 61 to 10.
You guys gotta be.
Slow down, my man. We're gonna explain everything in a minute, but we're gonna do it safe.
After being placed in cuffs, House is then searched while still having no idea why he's been stopped in the first place, let alone why he's been arrested. He's then walked to a patrol car and put in the back seat.
Have a seat.
So bring him back to PD, bring him to one of our interview rooms.
I got you.
Matt, can you follow him? Gentlemen, not a word with him. Don't explain what's going on. Don't ask him no questions. Good?
Got you.
Copy.
All right, yeah.
No, interview room. Put him by my office.
All right. Sam 20. We're out to the PD 1 mile 95, starting mileage 106972.
As the officer reviewing now attempts to drive off with House in the back seat back to the station, this is what the other officers were up to.
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Charlie Nora, 49263. Hey, Tom, this is the right car. That's not the right car. This is the wrong car. CS 794663. Yeah, this is the wrong car.
We're all good.
This is the wrong car.
Of course not.
Yes, it is.
CN.
But the plate don't match.
The last 4 or 5 are wrong.
It's the wrong plate.
Well, we got tucked in about the fucking thing, you know?
Yep.
And just like that, like we've seen so many times before with misreading license plate numbers and addresses, a simple mistake by people who have the legal right to kill you has traumatized a member of the community for the rest of their lives.
Take him out. Wrong car. Take him out. Wrong car.
Hop on, man.
Place the car. That's the deal. We'll take you out of handcuffs. There you go. Okay, I'm going to give you some information on who I am. We'll talk about what's going on, okay? But I want to take care of these handcuffs first. Oswego PD had a shooting. Car plates. The car is the same as yours. Plates match with... Wait, hold on.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Look at me.
No.
Plates match. 2 of them are off. All right? That's why you're placed in handcuffs. We thought you were the guy.
No,
all right? You're not. I understand that. All right? Hey, listen, look at me. What's up?
Okay.
Understand that? I'm going to give you my card. This is on me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely on me. Let's clear these roads.
Y'all threatening to shoot me in the head and move, put your hands up. Like,
You're right.
This is fun.
Okay, well, listen.
This is fun. I've been out here for 15 years and never have I once in my life. My man, nothing,
But
dude.
you have to look at it.
My man, nothing, dude.
He's got every right to
That's unacceptable.
You are absolutely
Especially you, Harvey. Especially you, bro.
Okay. All right.
That is
your name?
My name is Derek House, man. I've been out here. I lived in Woodridge for 10. I've been in Downers Grove for 3, man. I'm an upstanding citizen. My kids go to school here. I'm well respected. That's wrong.
You're right.
You don't do that. You don't do that.
He's right, it is wrong and completely unfair to him, his family, and the entire community. The car the officers were actually looking for was the same brand, but a different model, color, license plate number, and number of occupants reported in the vehicle. House was driving alone, while the target vehicle reportedly had at least 2 occupants. The law firm Eckel, Williams, and Provenzela is representing House in this lawsuit, alleging his 4th and 5th Amendment rights were violated for excessive use of force, false arrest, failure to intervene, assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. As of this recording, none of the officers have been charged with a crime, but are named as defendants in House's official complaint, which we will link below. We hope this case is resolved quickly, and Derek House and the entire village of Woodridge and the community get the justice they all deserve.